reporting for duty. Let's go. Let's go for a cup of tea. This is a Tommy cooker. It's like a candle stove. They would get their mess tin, but they put the mess tin on top of it, and they would light the candle inside, and it's got like fuel inside. And then the candle, and there's a scene of this in the movie. The candle would make the mess tin hot, and they put bacon in it and cook bacon with it, and then they put the lid back on to make it go out again. And this is the cookhouse where the guys would assemble. Well, the guys would cook their food. There'd be someone who's in charge of that. In the film, it's a guy called Freeman, and he would ring the bell to signify that food's ready. And yeah, the guys would come and get the food. In the film, they actually hang out here a little bit because it's quite sheltered. And we're gonna a scene in the rain, so we're gonna cover it up, and so the guys can all sit here. We're probably also gonna make this bit. Take these bits out, so we've got a bigger space around here. Probably a few pages of script happening here. There's at least two gatherings of the soldiers as they sit around and talk in this space. So it's good to make sure we know exactly what we're doing here. And then if you come through this way, over here now towards no man's land, you wouldn't come here if the Germans were. No man's land is just over where the barbed wire is.
Is there going to be a lot of continuous shots like moving through here, or is it mainly just?
So there is going to be continuous shots we would have coming through. If you want to follow me, I'll show you where they go. Oh well, I think they might go. I mean, they can get expensive continuous shots.
Yeah, of course.
This is, in the movie we call this no man's alley. The idea is it's a very isolated trench. We're in German territory, and this is no man's alley. It runs from the dugout door there all the way down to the fire trench over there. We do have scenes that would follow a character coming in out of the dugout all the way down in a single shot, possibly in a single shot, it depends. And we would come down this way. So we come down here and we'll find this is the engineers station. So in here we'd have lots of basically props effectively. So you can see here there's some machine gun ammo, got bits of barbed wire, tools, lanterns, weapons, in fact, whole bunch of shit in here. But actually, a lot of the lads would sleep in here, you know. Maybe one or two. It's not very big. And then the same thing down here with the dressing station. So this is the dressing station, and so there's a scene in there, a couple of scenes in there.
So it's a bit of a tight squeeze. You're just hoping to just really get in there with the cameras.
It's only a couple of shots. So we get in with the camera looking out, and then one can just go in. And then this is the fire trench. So this is kind of the business end. This is where all the stuff kind of happens. Right now we are, I don't know, 30 feet from 40 feet from the German line. You can see where the line of barbed wire is. That's the German line. So we're not far at all. We're close enough to be able to yell at them, which is crucial for the story. So this is where a lot of the gunfire stuff would happen. This is where the lads are going to be peeking over to see what's going on over here. Obviously there's a ladder up if they wanted to get over. They shouldn't be doing that. And then down here, same thing again. It's called Suicide Corner because you put your head over.
It's game over.
You're getting what's coming to you. We're not actually going to use this in the movie, but this is actually a real mortar that does fire. And they've got it sat under this thing for its protection, but that's a real weapon. And then these trenches here remaining to be dug out, but they will be dug out when we come to shoot. And through here is what we call the sap. The sap goes out into no man's land, into a crater that blew. So this would happen. The crater shell explodes and it blows a hole. And what the guys do is they dig a tunnel like this through so that they can get into the crater. And if you come up here, you can see exactly where the crater lets out. So the sap comes out here, and then we're into the crater. And the guys can get with cover. The guys can get all the way down here, all the way to here. So a good chunk of no man's land has been covered before they've exposed themselves to any potential German gunfire. And in the story, what the guys are doing, the guy comes out and he goes to one of these things to repair the barbed wire, and it's there where he meets a German soldier, and that's where our story begins. So obviously these posts are for safety. They will be coming out when we film, but they are there just to make sure no one goes anywhere they shouldn't do.
So you'll take these out in terms of like, let's say these are in the background.
Yeah, just so they don't show up in any shots.
Yeah.
But they'll go back in when they're not, like for example, when we're filming in the German trench, we'll put them back in because crew will have to come up and down here because they'll be prepping for the next scenes and things like that. So we'll put them back in just for safety. So this is No Man's Alley where it starts. You can see here we're not actually going to film in this dugout. We're going to play the entrance, and then we've actually got a set of a dugout that we're going to film in. From here down to the fire trench, that's all one. We're saying that's No Man's Alley. With the bit that's just over there, what we're saying is that actually in the film world exists way over there, miles away. And basically it's like this network of trenches that cover the French countryside. And so when our hero arrives at the trenches here, our trench, our hypothetical trench, despite the fact that it's literally just here, is actually way over there where those trees are, if not further, way off into the distance. And that's going to be a VFX shot that just gives us the kind of expanse and space that we want to make it feel like this isn't just that we're going to be isolated there when we get there, but for now this part is actually quite populous. We'll see a lot of heads popping around, people, a lot of traffic buzzing around here, soldiers coming and going and doing their thing. A lot of them are just working. So our hero arrives here. Our hero's name is Burke, and he arrives through the forest here, but we don't have a forest here, so we're going to be doing that somewhere else. But then he arrives here. We're gonna cut the brambles down and put a platform in to make it level, so that we can get him actually arriving here, and then we reveal our sort of trench system as it sits in the countryside. And I'll come and show you, if you work on this side, I'll show you this part of the trench. The latrine. So this is where the lads would defecate. This is kind of a junction. I've set a couple of scenes in the movie here, and so again, kind of things coming and going, people passing around. This is where Burke gets his briefing, and he's sent to the front lines effectively, and he's gonna go this way. These are trenches that remain to be built. He's gonna be going that way, and it takes him a while to get there, but in actual fact the trench is just here. So we would pick him up then at the end, we'd pick him up coming through here, and he walks out and onto this sign will say No Man's Alley, and then we're back at No Man's Alley. You know, I wrote this film after I come in here, and I wrote it to shoot here. So I'm scanning with LIDAR, you can see on the phone screen possibly, the environment. And what this will mean is I can put this into my 3D software. So I use Unreal Engine, but you could do it with a bunch of software. And it basically means I can check camera lineups, we can measure distances after the fact once we get home. As I said, I've already been here once and I should have done this the first time, and I didn't. And now I regret it. So I want to make sure that we get sufficient data this time, because there's a lot of planning about to start happening. I've got to do it in kind of logical sections as well, because it's too big a place to scan all at once. So trying to just make sure that I've got everything.
So with the scan and getting it into Unreal Engine, that means you can move around in the environment and everything?
Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah. I've got some toy soldiers I can put in, and I can start moving them around. I can start seeing what we can see through cameras.
How's the accuracy with this scanning? Is it like a 95%?
No, it's not. It has been professionally scanned, and I'm trying to get hold of that. But you can already see here, like I just scanned that sign, and now you can sort of see where the data for that sign is this flat plane here, and it's already come away from the surface. Now the post-processing should figure that out. It should start to realize, like, oh, I did that bit wrong, kind of thing.
Right.
But you never know, so I just try to make sure I've got as much of it covered as I can get. Once I know that everything's there, I can start like these metal sheets. I could put some of those in afterwards if I've missed one, if I've got a hole in it, or. But that'll do for now. Then done. Let's get that one. The trench is over there, but we're just going to scout a location that could double as our forest edge, which the movie starts and ends in. Because there isn't a forest up there. It's gonna have to be a little bit of movie magic to connect the two things, and a little bit of VFX. But hopefully, we can manage it. But we're just gonna go and see what this looks like and see what we can do with it. See if it's like how I imagined it when I wrote the script. The film opens and he's walking through a forest, and we need to get him from the forest to the trench, and the two things aren't next to each other. So we just need to find a way where we're going to shoot the forest stuff, and figure out a way to connect it to the trench in a way that doesn't jar the audience and they don't realise that we've just played a trick on them, you know. Come and have a look in the dugout. So this is a British dugout, a recreation. So it's outside of the trench system, built to be a little bit bigger, and it's actually got, if you come inside, you'll see it's actually got removable walls, and can be shot from nearly anywhere. Yeah, so it's got all the little props and bits and bobs here. The phone, maps, radios, candles, binoculars, clock, all the stuff that an army general would need. Some books and whatnot, newspapers. Yeah, it's a really cool immersive environment that they've built here, that we are going to use. So this will be our British dugout set. We would like to double it as a German set, but because of this in the middle, it would be a giveaway that that's what we've done. So we're probably going to build another one of these and dress it as a German dugout.
Are there many scenes going to be shot in such a place?
Yes, so there's 3 or 4, including the German dugout. It's the German one that really needs to be this size because there's a bit of action goes off in it. So it's a shame, really. The British one could stand to be smaller. I suppose there's an argument that we use the real German dugout one and dress that as a British one and actually shoot in there for the few scenes that are in there. But let's worry about that another day. Yeah, this is the dugout.